Representative Alan Clemmons, South Carolina. We've just spent a few hours in Hebron. Impressions?
There are people that would tell you that the Jews have no claim to Hebron. The Jews have no claim to the lands that are referred to as the West Bank. I stand to correct them. They need to see what I've seen. They need to go to Ruth's tomb. They need to be sitting right here where I am, on the field that was purchased. One of the most sacred sites in the Judeo-Christian world is right here where I'm sitting in Hebron. I'm in awe. I'm in awe at what I've seen. I'm in awe of the people that I see here, the Jewish people, protecting Israel's right and claim here in a land that in which they've had, in which they've lived as their home for millennia, at times being persecuted and driven out. But here they've got their toehold back on the land, and they're holding this sacred piece of ground for future generations.
Now, when you go back to the United States in a few days, you think you're going to be able to get people that are in doubt or that don't understand this and try to really convince them? Like how are you going to try to convince them? What are you going to say to somebody to try to change their mind?
The truth is an enemy to lies. And as I share the truth of what I've seen and what I'm seeing here in Israel, the truth will help dispel the myths, the misinformation that the worldwide media seems to be sharing with the world now, which is being bought in large part by the world.
You're a state representative in South Carolina. You have friends that are up on the Hill in Washington. What do you think that you can do to try to get them to change American foreign policy in such a way that they stop pressuring Israel to relinquish such important places as Hebron and places that you've seen in Samaria, and stop pressuring Israel to acquiesce to terror?
I've got a long answer for a short question. First of all, I do have friends in Congress, friends who are friends to Israel. Unfortunately, I believe that there are probably today, there is today more attention given to the enemies of Israel by those in the highest position in the United States than the alternative. As I see my mission, I'm from a small state. I'm from South Carolina. I represent the area of Myrtle Beach and about 30,000 residents. Don't have many Jews in my district. Out of that 30,000, there's about 600 Jews. I proposed a resolution in South Carolina that takes a position that most Bible-believing Americans hold, and that is that Israel has a right to the land of Israel. They have a right to settle it and a duty to settle it and protect it and defend it, defend these holy pieces of ground that no man, that no government gave them, that God gave them, and that they've peopled, and that they've owned, and that they've lived in, they've given birth in, they've died in. They have a right and a duty to protect this holy land. And I discovered that is truly the opinion of the heart and soul of the American people when I proposed that self-same resolution in the South Carolina House of Representatives. And all 124 members of the House of Representatives agreed with it and voted in favor of the resolution. Not a single person voted against it. I've now been in contact with about half of the states. A lot of noises going on in here. I've been in contact with about half of the states, and they're proposing the same resolution. I'm working on a bottom-up revolution within the United States to send the message to our president and to those sitting on Capitol Hill that America is with Israel. And by sending that message from the bottom up, my hope and my prayer and my belief is that those sitting in the highest offices of the land in America, they will likewise reach out to protect Israel. I implore that people that love Israel, they do take an active role. How can they do that? They can do that by contacting their representative, their member of their state House of Representatives, their state senator. Call them, send them a letter, send them an email, grab them by the arm when you see them at church, and tell them about this resolution. Tell them they can find out more about the resolution by contacting Alan Clemmons at Alan, A-L-A-N, at Alan Clemmons, CLEMMONS.com. And I've got the resolution posted there. They can take the resolution, model their state resolution after it, propose it, and what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is it's debated, and facts are put on the table. And as I've said before, facts are the arch enemy of lies. Put the facts on the table and debate the facts about Israel and Israel's right and claim on this God-given land. And the worst that could happen is that Israel haters would vote the resolution down within the state. The best that could happen is that which happened in South Carolina. All the members of the House are convinced, and all the members stand up unitedly, linking arms, regardless if they're a Republican or a Democrat or black or white or whatever else might divide them. But on this issue, they link arms and they say, we are united with Israel.
Do you see this moving up from the state level to the national level?
I do. Currently, there is a very active Christian Alliance with Israel caucus in Congress. I believe that Mike Pence is leading that effort. There are many members of that caucus, and why is that? It's because it's a point of American patriotism to stand with those who stand with America. And Israel has stood with America. Israel has proven its friendship to America. Israel, for the United States, is like having a fleet of aircraft carriers in the middle of the worst neighbors you could think of having. So why should we not politically stand with Israel, not to mention godly reasons for standing with Israel? So I do see this movement moving from the state legislatures up through Congress and to the presidency. I think it will grow that effort in Congress, and I think it will embolden Congress to stand firm with Israel at every opportunity. And I think it will be a shot over the bow of any administration that wants to further distance themselves from Israel.
You're much more involved in American politics than I am. I just, see what comes over the internet. But do you see a change, a possible change in the White House? Do you think that if one of the Republican candidates is elected, that they could politically today accept that kind of a resolution? Do you see Mitt Romney or Newt Gingrich or any of the others? They seem to be the front runners today. Who knows what will happen between now and Convention Day? But do you see any of them really changing American policy towards Israel, stopping the pressure on Israel?
I do. I have talked to a number of those running for the Republican nomination for president, and I've studied what all of them have had to say. I am convinced that regardless of who should be the Republican nominee for president, either one of those candidates will be a much closer friend to Israel. And each of them has spoken very highly of Israel and how they want to change the policy of America towards Israel. Each of them will be a much better alternative than what we have today.
Well, I would certainly like to see you on the ticket.
You're very kind.
Are you going to come back?
I certainly hope to. Will you receive me if I do?
Oh, I'll be delighted to bring you back and show you around again and answer your questions. And if you bring people with you, show them around. And I just want you to know that speaking for myself on behalf of of Hebron and all the people like us, we appreciate very much everything that you're doing.
Thank you very much, David.
Thank you very much. We're standing now outside Marat Machpelah. What do you think of this site?
This site is just incredible. This is the cradle of civilization as far as those that believe in one God is concerned.
Now, you mentioned the legislation that you're pushing through not only South Carolina, but through other states. How can that be furthered? How can you see yourself pushing that, not just on a state level, but on a national level?
I have been working, and I'm going to continue to work with members of legislatures from across the country to propose the same resolution or very similar resolution in each state of the Union. We can connect those 50 states of the Union together to come to Israel's side, to come to the aid of Israel, to say, number one, politically, Israel is the best friend that America has. But speaking in terms of faith, Israel has a right to the land that's being disputed by the leftists of the world. When we come together in that fashion, we will send a bottom-up message to the President of the United States and to Congress that the American people will not stand for America backing away from Israel.